Hello, everybody. I want to discuss a topic that's very concerning. And if you're not aware, which most of us aren't, then I suggest you tune in to a privacy nightmare situation going into the future that's happening now and in the future. Um, so we have this article done by the Mozilla organization titled "Privacy Nightmare on wheels. Every car brand reviewed by Mozilla, including Ford, Volkswagen, and Toyota, flunks privacy test. Now, this highlights a very important problem in today's society. Um, a lot of the things that we're using, they're not as private as you may think. Okay, nor are they nor are they fully, in my opinion, transparent in revealing what they collect, what data they collect, what are they learning about us as individuals. So if you see here, Mozilla's latest edition of Privacy Not Included reveals how 25 major car brands collect and share deeply personal data, including sexual activity, facial expressions, and genetic and health information. The article goes on um, as such. All 25 major car brands reviewed in Mozilla's latest edition of Privacy Not Included, P&I for short, received failing marks for consumer privacy, a first in the buyer's guide 7 year history. According to Mozilla research, popular global brands including BMW, Ford, Toyota, Tesla, Kia, and Subaru can deep can collect deeply personal data such as sexual activity, immigration status, race, facial expressions, weight, health, and genetic information, and where you drive. Researchers found data is being gathered by sensors, microphones, cameras, and the phones and devices drivers connect to their cars, as well as by car apps, company websites, dealerships, and vehicle telematics. Brands can then share or sell this data to third parties. Keep in mind, that's the bigger issue. That's just as big of an issue as the companies collecting data in and of itself. But let's continue. Car brands can also take much of this data and use it to develop inferences, about a um, driver's intelligence, abilities, characteristics, preference, and more. Now, why is this such an issue? Well, one, many of us don't even know that they're learning about our sexual activity, genetic information, our health and weight, and where you drive. Now, where you drive, I think that's kind of a given at this point with GPS and whatnot. So I don't think there's really a surprise there. But immigration status, race, facial expressions, it's kind of creepy, um, if I may say so myself. I don't know about you. You can let me know in the comment section on what or how you feel about this situation. But I I personally find it concerning. I know a lot of it is being used for AI purposes, and I'm not the most trusting person of AI. Um, do I use AI currently? Yes, I do. I think it's a great addition to society in certain aspects, but there is a dangerous side to using and implementing AI, especially if we're talking about conscious AI. Um, so I have a problem with this because in this article, the manufacturers basically allude to the fact that they actually have a right to collect collect this data, right? Collect data on the drivers. And my issue is, I think we're starting to get a little scary with the use of the word right. I'm not sure if, and I'm not convinced that you have a right to track who's in my car and who's bumping on my lap, and identifying that person as well, and capturing her chest size and her waist size and her butt size and her thigh size, and how many times she go up and down, and all the other graphic details. I don't think you have a right for that. I personally don't think so. I don't know how that is of use to the development of your car. My ancestors used your cars, and they did they thing back in the day, bumper grinding in the car, and everything was just fine. The car was just fine. It probably had more room than what we have now to operate in. So I don't understand why is that a necessity to collect. I personally don't. This paragraph is what really got me. Let me just go ahead and read it. The very worst offender is Nissan. The Japanese car manufacturer admits in their privacy policy to collecting a wide range of information, including sexual activity, health diagnosis data, and genetic data, but doesn't specify how. Pause. I find it deeply concerning that you can express that you are collecting this data, but don't explain how you're collecting this data. Is there a sensor that's under my butt? Am I sitting on a needle? Is there a sensor on the steering wheel and it captures my, fingerprints? Like I said, it's just kind of creepy, and I don't like it. This is definitely making me not want to buy any new cars. And if you don't want this, you're gonna have to stand up and say so, collectively, because this is going under the radar, and it seems like it has been going on. I'm even questioning on just how long they've been collecting this data. But let's continue on. They say they can share and sell customers' preferences, characteristics, psychological trends, predispositions, behavior, attitudes, intelligence, abilities, and aptitudes to data brokers, law enforcement, and other third parties. Wow. I mean, wow. That is beyond scary, which means they, in a sense, know more about you than you do, because some behaviors are subconscious. Some behaviors are behavioral, as in like reactive. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not a fan of this. Let's continue on though. Other top offenders include Volkswagen, which collects demographic data like age and gender, and driving behaviors like your seatbelt and braking habits. Now, personally, let me just finish right quick. So it says other top offenders, including Volkswagen, which collects demographic data like age and gender, and driving behaviors like your seatbelt and braking habits for targeted marketing purposes. Now, when I first read this, I didn't think that was that bad until I paid attention to the fact that it's for marketing purposes. And in my mind, I'm like, I still cannot connect the dots on braking habits and marketing. If anybody else can figure out, you can also let me know in the comments. But I cannot understand how just knowing my braking habits help you with marketing purposes. I guess if you're talking selling data to a driving shoe company that, I don't know, can target people who brake too much or something. I don't know. I don't even know that even exists. But you gotta admit that this stuff is it should make your stomach kind of turn a bit. This is really scary. As I can only wonder just how much information these companies have collected. And the real question that I have is, do we have a right for that information to actually be deleted? And is there a way to ensure that our data is actually deleted? That's the biggest question. Is you can probably, I guess you can argue that you have a right to collect the data. But I would rate that the biggest question is, do I have a right for you not to collect the data? And I would imagine if you were being considerate of what you were collecting, I would have hoped that you would have those settings turned off by default, not on. And then ask people, maybe when they first start their car or something, do you mind if we collect this data and what it's for, and so forth and so forth. I think it's time, knowing this information, that we begin to focus on manufacturers the same way we do websites, in that when you sign up for like Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, there's a lot of legality that they want you to kind of go through and agree to. Now, I will do a video on why I think we're overcomplicating privacy policy in terms of service on purpose, but nevertheless, excuse me, this is really scary, and I just think it's time we as people highlight this portion of our lives where we have no control of who's collecting data about our driving habits and who we have in our car and how we, our sexual activity and health diagnosis data. Like, I don't like this, not one bit. And so to continue on, Toyota, which features a near incomprehensible galaxy of 12 privacy policy documents. Kia, whose privacy policy states that they can collect information about your sex life. Why? Like, why? Why? Why do you need to know who's bumping grinding in the car, in your car? I don't, in the car that you manufacture. I fail to see the reasoning. And I do understand that it says can, which means it's a possibility that they're not, but I would feel more comfortable knowing that they're not. That's all I'm saying. And let's continue on. And Mercedes-Benz, which manufactures certain models with TikTok, an app with its own privacy issues, greatly noted, pre-installed. Analysts estimate that by 2030, car data monetization could be an industry worth $750 billion, which means there's a whole lot of data that's being collected. A ton. And the fact that not a single brand received Mozilla's best of designation. Wow. This is just crazy. And I want you to take notice as to what Jen says. So says Jen, I hope I'm saying this right, Cartwright, the P&I privacy, the P&I program director. She goes on to say, many people think of their car as a private space, somewhere to call your doctor, have a personal conversation with your kid on the way to school, cry your eyes out over a breakup, or drive places you might not want the world to know about. But that perception no longer matches reality. This is the key. all new cars today are privacy nightmares on wheels that collect huge amounts of personal information. Let's continue on, and I'll wrap this up. Says Misha, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, Rykoff, a P&I researcher. This she goes on to say, or he, I'm assuming she. This isn't the first time Mozilla has uncovered an industry with terrible privacy policies, but cars are unique. Their privacy flaws impact not just the driver, but also passengers and sometimes even nearby pedestrians. They can hear you, see you, and track you. Today, sitting in someone's car is a lot like handing your phone over to the auto manufacturer. Wow. So, if my car, let's assume I have a brand new car, it's not only tracking my data, it's tracking my passenger data without the person knowing, by the way. So even though it's my car, my passenger doesn't even have the right to refuse tracking. So you're just collecting data on anybody. This is scary. And this one right here, this is a really big issue in a lot of industries. And so let me read this real quick, and I'll wrap this up. Many car brands engage in privacy washing. Privacy washing is the act of pretending to protect consumers' privacy while not actually doing so. And many brands are guilty of this. And this isn't just car manufacturers, by the way. This is a lot of industries, banks included, that love to act like they got all this protection for privacy, consumers' privacy, and they don't. They really don't. They don't. For example, several have signed on to the Automotive Consumer Privacy Protection Principles. But these principles are non-binding and created by the automakers themselves. Well, that's convenient, right? You create your own principles that you can abide by. Of course you're going to create them. It's what's called privacy washing. It's the act. Let's continue on. Further, signatories don't even follow their own principles, like data minimization, i.e. collecting only the data that is needed. So y'all created these principles, and some of y'all don't even follow your own principles. Wow. Wow. And this is another issue. This not including the level of data breaches that go on. So not only are you collecting this data, but you probably don't even have a sufficient sufficient security to protect that data. So hackers just take the data, all that data, which means who knows what they're doing with that. This needs to go to Congress, and I say immediately. This is just ridiculous. This is my thoughts on this, and well, I'll end this. This should not happen. I'm totally against cars collecting so much data. I understand the need on the business side to collect certain data, maybe like driving patterns and whatnot. I can understand that, okay? Driving behaviors, aggressive drivers, slow drivers, Like, I can understand learning how people are using your car and understanding which demographics are drawn to your car. I can understand those things. But sex life? Really? Really? I mean, if you're just tracking anything, I mean, and we don't know what people are doing in their cars, but that's scary. Okay, this industry needs to be held accountable, and Congress needs to do something about it, and we as people need to do something about it. We need to do something about it. We need to, write letters or ask your Congress to fight it. But this is really scary. Um, I'm not a fan of this. I think it's an invasion of privacy, and I believe that cars are one of the most private areas in your life. We as Americans, we spend a lot of time in our cars, so it's a very big part of our life. And the worst part about this to me is that we're not even aware. You just get to collect data as much as you want, and we're unaware. That's not okay. I bet you. I'm assuming a lot of y'all have mansions. I bet you if a security company, um, and let's say you're using security in your home, I know you wouldn't like it if they were tracking all this data on yourself. I bet you wouldn't. I bet you wouldn't want security knowing how much sex you're having in the room and who you're having sex with, how many times you get up at night. Like, it's just creepy. You know what I'm saying? So I know y'all wouldn't like it, but here y'all are invading people's privacy and not telling them that you're doing it, which is, I believe, is one of the biggest crimes, or biggest ethical issues in America right now. Is that so many companies, so many industries are just doing what they want when they want without even people knowing. You just doing it. And a part of me truly believes that that if people got wind of what you were collecting, they will opt out or just stop using your product. Maybe not all, but a good portion of them, because it's creepy. I I was thinking about eventually buying me like a brand new model, but I think on this one I'm either gonna just stick to an old car, um, or just bicycle. And even then, that's probably scary. That's probably skeptical in and of itself. Bicycling probably got new technology tracking tracking where you going, who you going to meet. This is not okay. Uh, willingly engaging in privacy invasion is wrong. It's wrong, and this needs to change. Um, anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Either you're okay with it, not okay with it. What do you think we should do? Um, this is really scary. I would love to hear y'all feedback. Thank you for tuning in to Midday. More videos coming soon, and have a good day.